but I'm just generating more. Like I'm just replicating more mass somehow. If I wasn't not eating and drinking coffee and shitting myself to death, I would already be 600 pounds.
Welcome, residents, to the Dr. DC podcast. My name is producer Richard, and across from me is the doctor himself.
Yeah, hello.
Each week, we talk about the weird and wonderful world of DC. Well, I'm feeling questions from Mrs. Like you.
Oh, that was bordering on something dangerous.
Misa thinking that's a good idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Is the introduction of Boss Nass introducing a third character into the potential romp in the swamp showdown between Cajun Wolverine and Shrek Morrison?
That's insane.
Cajun Wolverine, Shrek Morrison, and now Boss Nass.
It's the Holy Trinity.
Oh, the three greatest swamp-based characters.
Sorry,
Swamp Thing.
That was the funniest thing I saw on fucking Twitter was the This Is Rad, Goods from the Woods. I love that we just forced our way into that Trinity.
Yeah. That we're...
How many podcasts have broken off from This Is Rad and we just forced our way in to be part of that Trinity?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Us. Forcing it.
Yeah.
Forcing it in.
Hey, if there's anything you're good at is riding those coattails.
Oh my God, are you kidding
All
me?
the way to the top.
Everything in my life I owe to riding coattails. All the good things that have ever happened to me. Everything I've ever accomplished, quote unquote.
in quote,
accomplished.
Yeah.
I think if we're talking life, I've got the highest plus minus. I don't necessarily have the most goals or assists, but my plus minus is off the charts.
But then mine is just it's like going to the casino and always betting the full amount of money you have. So, only tops and bottoms, baby.
Oh man,
red and green. That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of green lights, we got a review.
Hey, let's have it.
It only counts as one, but we got a 10-star review.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, that's out of 1 million stars.
Yes. That sounds about right.
Yeah. We got a 10-star review on Facebook from CJ Feet?
I think it's CJ Fight.
Oh. Oh, good thing it's not feet. I get a little aroused.
Easy Tarantino.
Yeah, well, give me those sexy little tootsies.
Yeah. Oh, CJ Feet.
Oh, CJ Feet says.
Ceviche?
Ceviche Feet say?
Ceviche?
Now I'm hungry and aroused. CJ goes on to say, the Dr. DC podcast is an awesome listen. I can't believe they are continuing to do this. I am in awe of their ability.
It literally awesome.
Yes. I've learned so much about the universe of DC that I had no idea I was missing out on. 10 out of 10 stars.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, CJ.
CJ, let's get in our PJs.
Easy. Come on now.
Let me see those feet says.
So aggressive.
Well, that's what I do.
Such harassment.
Wow. Harassment. Let's go to the news. Yeah, that seems appropriate. Have you seen the trailer for Joker in Mortal Kombat 11?
Oh, yeah, I think I have, yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so
let's do it.
I'm going to do it.
Mortal Kombat 11's really been loading up on like the guest characters.
I haven't wanted to play a Mortal Kombat game for a really long time until this game came out, and I've actually been like,
I've heard it's pretty good.
I mean, I like the gun usage in that fight.
I mean, Mortal Kombat doesn't have to shy away from the violence the way that like Injustice maybe does. Mortal Kombat has always been a series that like reveled in like gruesomeness and brutality. And yeah, there's a lot of like shooting people in the face that the Joker seems able to do in that game.
I like that it's through a Batman like toy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll save you.
Also, has Baraka always looked and sounded like Killer Croc?
I was wondering that too. I'm like, is that supposed to be Killer Croc?
Yeah. But he had the blades. I thought that's Baraka, right?
I think so. Fuck, I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah, no, I think they've loaded up on a bunch of sort of like guest kind of characters for this one. I'm pretty sure the T-800 is in it. I think you can play a Spawn.
Wow.
I think there's quite a few. But yeah, so, I mean, we know that there's already connections between Mortal Kombat and DC because they did that whole video game where they teamed up. And basically the engine, they just use the same engine between Mortal Kombat and Injustice and just tweak it for different things.
That's true,
so, yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. And the Joker is exactly the violent type of character you could throw in a game like
it's
that.
clearly not Mark Hamill, but it's one of the guys that does the Mark Hamill impression.
So like Troy Baker or something?
Yeah, or the sort of bigger black guy.
Kevin Michael Richards.
Yeah, that guy does a really, really good Mark Hamill Joker.
Does he?
Yeah.
Oh, because his Joker was so different.
It is, for sure. But I've also heard him do
really?
Mark Hamill.
I don't think I've ever heard that. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah,
I like him.
I'm assuming it's probably Troy Baker, but I know he does it too.
Nice. Sweet.
This next piece of news is really just more interesting, I think, than anything else, and I'm curious. Bradley Cooper apparently proved instrumental in Joker editing room.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess it's not a surprise that Todd Phillips and Bradley Cooper work together or would work together or would help each other out because of 3 Hangover movies together. But
I am the Batman, watch as I fly in.
Yeah, there's that scene.
I am the Dark One now.
There's the scene where the Joker pisses himself on his at his own trial.
I think it is funny that he's like only directing he's ever done is like that movie, and then he is like,
and he's just in the editing bay for.
They apparently were like they would just like call him randomly at night because he was a producer on Joker, which I didn't know.
I guess that also makes sense though, right? Like to help his buddy out, kind of thing.
Yeah, but they would like call him at night and like send him cuts and like get his opinion on stuff. And
interesting. I mean, that's a very hands-on producer. Which, if as a director that's what you want, then great. I think there's probably people that would hate that, but it's if that's the way they work, then that's sweet. But yeah, I mean, I don't think even if I rewatched Joker, I'd be like, oh yeah, Cooper's been here. Yeah. Like, I don't know that he's got a voice I can pinpoint. Like,
I'm curious.
Like, oh yeah, that's some fucking Cooper editor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I could smell the rocket all over that. I'd be curious to see what he does. Like, I wonder if they'd ever give him like his own movie. I mean, because he's proven like he can direct.
What, Bradley Cooper?
Yeah,
his own superhero movie.
Yeah,
I don't know. Or maybe he's could be Batman when Batman gets introduced in the Joker universe.
I mean, you say that.
Would you believe it? Todd Phillips wants to have Batman in his Joker universe.
It's funny you say that. Actually, Bradley Cooper wouldn't make that bad of a Bruce Wayne.
I think he would.
I don't know if he would, actually. I think he can pull it off.
He doesn't have enough of the darkness in him. That's why he plays face in fucking the A-Team, right? Like, because he's just Playboy. I could see him playing Green Arrow before I could see him playing Batman. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I don't know. He played pretty dark in the freaking that movie, with Lady Gaga.
He didn't, though. The movie is dark. He didn't play dark. He just played sad. That's not the same.
Isn't it though?
No.
I mean, if anything, Batman is. It's just real sad.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't like it. But who knows? They're so cozy. Maybe that's what would happen.
I mean, I don't hate it. I'm just saying. Third piece of news here: Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo tease their next comic event.
Oh, is this the one where Wonder Woman has like the chainsaw sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw the image. I actually don't know what the event is. Did they say anything beyond just releasing that image?
What did they say? Let's see. Justice League 39 concluded Justice / Doom War. Scott Snyder's story spun out of the pages of Dark Knight's Metal. Batman Who Laughs currently clouding it. No, I think that's it.
Interesting.
No, it's called Chainsaw of Truth. That's all we know.
The story is? Or
no,
I think he just called it that offhand. Like, that's not actually what it's called, is it?
Oh, I don't know. That's all I've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, Snyder Capullo is clearly a formula that is based in like cool imagery. It's like a heavy metal album cover / your nightmares.
Yeah.
So it's not a surprise to see them. I mean, it's maybe a little bit of a surprise to see them take Wonder Woman as a character for that.
Yeah, which is cool.
I think we've had. I mean, not to say enough, but I think we've seen their Batman. We get it. We know what their take on Batman is, like philosophically and stuff like that. It'd be cool to
Let's go to the other side of the coin, right?
Let's see more other kind of stories. So if it's Wonder Woman focused, that would be cool. I don't know if it's just a cool image they released or if the story is actually like about Wonder Woman.
It would be rad if
I hope it is.
If they do like a Thor, like heavy metal type, like mythic, but like chainsaws and metal kind of thing.
God of War meets Gears of War.
Yeah. With fucking Wonder Woman. Yeah, I'm in for
Gears
that.
of Gods of War.
Gears of Gods of Doom.
War.
Last piece of news. Not DC, but DC adjacent. Rosario Dawson takes lead in Vertigo's DMZ adaptation for HBO Max.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know anything about DMZ.
I don't either. But Rosario Dawson is funny. She's always sort of been comic book adjacent.
Isn't that really interesting?
I mean, she's been voicing Wonder Woman in those animated movies for years. She is in all those Marvel Netflix shows. She has come out and said that she would love to play She-Hulk. Like, I think she's like into it. Like, that she sort of, she's a fan. She likes being a part of that sort of stuff. So it's not a surprise that she's attached to a project that is based on a graphic novel or a comic book.
Oh, for sure. Apparently the pilot is based on the highly praised Vertigo comic in New York, about New York becoming a demilitarized zone after a second American Civil War. Has no production start date and is just in the writing stage right now. Originally inspired by the events of September 11th. Yeah, I mean, so much shit spun out of that. The original DMZ comic was written by Brian Wood, featuring the art by Riccardo Burchielli.
Nice.
It took place in Manhattan and utilized the island as the middle ground between two warring parts of the United States.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it sounds fucking rad. Yeah.
Yeah. More, I like alternate history things, although we have to be a little careful with them. Like, there's good alternate history that's valuable or interesting as storytelling. And then there's like, why are we doing this? Like, it's good that they canceled that proposed, what was it called? Confederate, that HBO one from the Game of Thrones people, where they're like, what if the South won the Civil War and we could have slaves again? It's like, maybe that's not an alternate history worth pursuing.
Maybe not something we hold up on a pedestal and see why that's, put that under a microscope.
There are some things that aren't worth exploring.
Yes.
Other things. So I don't know this story, so I'm not really sure what the setup of like the Civil War is. If the breakdown is like the same sort of racial kind of, like one very racist side and one supposedly tolerant side, or what. But I think if it's tastefully done, I'm always down for an alternate history.
Well, yeah,
I think they're kind of neat.
I mean, I've been loving the Quentin Tarantino's new love with having alternate history.
Oh yeah, but like that's.
Did you see the long time ago in Hollywood?
As problematic as Tarantino is, at least his alternate history has Hitler die.
Did you see a long time ago the Hollywood?
No.
Oh my god, that ending!
Oh really?
Oh, if you liked the ending of Inglourious Basterds, you're gonna really love that one.
Do they machine gun Charles Manson?
I mean, not far from that. I'll say that Charles Manson, no, but because he wasn't because he's not the one who went and killed all those people.
Well, I just figured because Sharon Tate is in there.
No.
I figured there's a connection. Right?
That connection's there.
Oh, okay.
But Manson's never the one who actually went.
Yeah.
So it's not them. But I will say that there is a flamethrower involved.
Interesting.
It is literally like a movie that up until that point I'm like, this is okay. And then that scene happens and you go, no, this movie was 100% worth it. I'll watch this 100 more times, and thank you for existing. Yeah,
fair enough.
That it's 100% what you want it to be. It's I mean,
I might get there eventually.
I think it's worth.
I'm a little like Tarantino fatigued, but I'll get there eventually.
I think it's worth it. HBO is also still working on that Green Lantern show.
Oh yeah.
Fuck.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
Fucking yes.
It's happening.
Yes. If I could see the future, I see it being very good.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because I think the idea is that it's going to focus on 2 human lanterns, but I think it's going to be like cops in space.
Yeah. That's what it should be.
Yeah. Cops / Star Trek in space.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we should get to this week's episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
This week's
theme, you guessed it, / you read our minds.
Phone call pathways.
/ you read the title.
Talking about the lines between a phone and the tower.
Yeah, the telepaths, if you will.
Yeah. I'm glad we got there together.
Woo! Yeah, we're talking about telepaths and telepathy this week, and we got lots of questions.
Fuck yeah, you guys were waiting for this.
Yeah. Y'all waiting for this?
Yeah. We're in a weird mood today. So
yeah, we are in a weird mood today.
Usually it's been me just by myself, but now you're in a pissy mood, so it's bringing the weird out in you.
Yeah, but listen, let's just get the
How do I bring up the questions though? I don't know how. Can you leave me some information on how to do? You're a boss. That's what it takes to be a boss, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's all right.
Let's go to the questions. What?
Oh, wait. Oh, fuck.
You loser.
I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me?
Please.
Why don't you?
Why don't you? Let's go to Facebook.
Go to the face and the book. Go to the Facebook.
Adam Upper.
I hardly know her.
Asks, do you think John,
You're right. I just thought something happened to you there. I forgot what the question was.
Yeah. Do you think John, the telepathy combined with his other powers, makes him a little too overpowered?
Right. So
OP if you're nasty.
We're talking about Johns.
Or
Jean-Johns.
Jean-Johns.
Oh, Jean Valjean. Le dernier des hommes de Mars. Yeah, the Martian Manhunter. One of, if not the most powerful sort
He's
of
a man
telepaths.
Hunter, make it hunt, make it hunt.
Oh, here he comes.
He's a manhunter.
We've talked about this before. I mean, so his Martian physiology basically replicates most of the powers of a Kryptonian, except it's not dependent on the color of a sun.
No, he's just got it.
So he's incredibly strong, bordering on, if not relatively matching, Kryptonian strength.
Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's the red sun.
He has heat vision, super speed, Martian breath, like the strong. It does not freeze breath, but like he can make like the vortex breath kind of stuff. He can fly, but he can also phase, shapeshift, turn invisible. He has like telepathy, some like telekinesis and things. Like he's Superman and Professor X and Magneto and Mystique and
just like
Plastic Man and
just like an illegal alien to come in and take all those jobs.
Yeah. And just like and to take all of those jobs, do them all exceptionally well, better than the people that were doing them before, and get no credit.
Well, because he looks weird.
And no credit and none of the love.
Yeah. I don't like his skin color, and he looks weird.
I turned it around, baby.
And I'm going to bring it back down.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make the argument that it makes him too overpowered. I think the thing that counters it is they gave him like a crazy weakness, which is fire.
Yeah.
Like, what is at every emergency?
Yeah.
Basically, is fire. Like,
it's like, it's a really rare rock from a planet that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's not a
good luck.
It's not a specific type of fire. It's not like, oh, it's a butane fire.
Yeah,
like,
no.
It's just like fire.
It's not fires from like the embers
and
beneath
it doesn't have to
the
be
earth.
that he is on fire.
No.
And it doesn't even have to be physically that it's killing him. It like psychically weakens him.
Yes.
Like it's like a traumatic fire.
Yeah.
Like
it's a fire inside.
Yeah. So yes, I think technically his combination and levels of powers make him overpowered, but they've completely countered it by giving him such a punk weakness. That,
a little bit, yeah.
That it's like, okay, we know how powerful you are, but you're also pretty easy to take down with a concerted effort. You know,
without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right. Next question comes from We've Only Just Done.
That's the best one yet.
I'm trying to ramp it up. Yeah. I don't know where
a nice vibrato in there.
Yeah. I've been practicing.
Yeah, I kind of believe you, actually. I would not be surprised to learn that you had been practicing.
Well, just choose something you're...
On the drive to work?
Yeah.
If only just done.
God damn it.
No.
You can do better than this.
Come on.
Stop the record. Restart.
Siri, record.
Yeah, you want to make sure.
Just making sure.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Yeah.
Well, I
know. Dan asks, how did Maxwell Lord attain his telepathic persuasion powers?
Right. So Maxwell Lord was the longtime sort of administrator of the Justice League.
Hey, there's only one of those around here.
Oh my God. How are you here?
I'm always here.
Have you also been practicing the Dan Dunn song?
Well, he has to do it with someone.
Oh God! Do you guys carpool together?
Yeah, we have a harmony that's out of this world. You'll never hear it though.
Your voices are very complimentary.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want you to take this the wrong way, Todd, but we're going to talk about a different superhero administrator.
Well, that's bullshit. But
Todd, the language, my God.
But it's fine.
It's not very professional.
There's too many things to fold. So
okay, you go do that.
Okay,
I'm going to talk about Maxwell Lord.
Goodbye. Hey,
I thought we fired him.
Yeah, well, he's not Martian Manhunter. It's not enough to just simply present him with fire.
The puns keep coming,
baby.
Maxwell Lord, longtime administrator of the Justice League, who you learn was sort of like making them ineffectual and kind of. Yeah, he was sort of manipulating.
You mean through like administrative bureaucracy, you can make something ineffectual?
Oh my God, you can. And
who would have thought?
But he had this power of like mild mind control, but it would make his nose bleed, and he could only do so much until you get to like Countdown to Infinite Crisis and into Infinite Crisis, where his power he basically says it's been getting stronger and stronger, and eventually he takes over Superman and makes Superman fight Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman like basically lassos Max and says, "How do I stop this?" And he says, "You can't," so she kills him, which is a very sort of iconic modern comics moment for Wonder Woman. It's that Maxwell Lord becomes such a powerful telepath that he mind controls Superman. But how did he get his powers? Max gets his powers the way a lot of people get their powers, which was in the Invasion crossover, where the Dominators invade. This thing called a gene bomb goes off, and instead of killing metahumans, it activates like a dormant meta gene in a bunch of other humans. So it actually creates more metahumans.
Oh,
and and Max is one of them. So it starts as this very low level power of his, where he could maybe he could sort of persuade people, but like, yeah, it would make his nose bleed. It took a lot of strain and stuff like that. But eventually he does get incredibly powerful form of telepathy. But yeah, it's because of the gene bomb. It activates a dormant metagene.
Oh man, I had too much chili one day, and God, that was a gene bomb.
I was about to drop more facts, but it's really hard to follow that.
Oh, a lot was dropped that day.
You could make the argument, I think, that maybe Max has a dormant metagene, something slightly different in his genetic coding, because his father, I think when Max is very little, he sees his father kill himself, and his father kills himself because he realizes the company he works for is creating this crazy carcinogen, and he can't live with the guilt. So maybe if that carcinogen is in their lives and it affects Max a little bit, it may have laid the groundwork for this thing that was a dormant metagene, perhaps.
A dormant moo.
Yeah. Come to bargain.
All right. Well, next question comes from the most interesting resident.
Roland Sabas.
Hey, look at that confidence in that. You knew who it was. I don't know why why there was even a slight hesitation.
We only use it for one person.
That's right.
The most interesting resident.
Yeah, that's how they're the most interesting.
Andrew Delgado. Roland Sabas.
I'm sorry. Who the fuck was that? I don't know.
Sorry. Stephen Mariano Malgra. No, not like this.
They can't exist at the same timeline.
Cue end of time cut.
Roland asks, how strong do you really think Simon can be against Saturn Girl?
Right. So let's talk about these two. So
Simon.
He has basically, you can kind of see his brain through his head. But he's a telepath. He didn't used to be. I think he used to be like a chemist or a physicist or something.
But when you can see your brain through your head, I mean, there's not a lot of options.
Well, no, I mean, it wasn't always like that. But he was studying something with like different dimensions. And I think in his original version, he like finds Trigon. And Trigon, for some reason, gives him powers. And basically, like, Simon gets this telepathic power. You can see his brain and stuff like that. And he goes after the Teen Titans. He becomes a member of the Fearsome Five. And, he's a Teen Titans villain for the most part. He plays a big part in the Young Justice cartoon. And he is a powerful telepath with sort of magic-y based powers. Saturn Girl is a member of the Legion of Superheroes. She's a founding member of the Legion in the 31st century. She's from Titan, like the moon of Saturn.
She is the one. Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Sailor Saturn. Is that one of those weird secondary ones? Like after they made the main team, then they were like, maybe we should make one for all the planets.
Yeah. Sailor Pluto is like a little off.
Yeah.
We're not really sure if she's still a sailor anyway. All right, Skipper.
Be funny if there was like
Pluto,
one of the planets that doesn't have a name yet. It's like, I'm Sailor XB570.
If you did like an Andromeda Sailor Moon,
I mean, Andromeda's a whole galaxy.
I know, but that's like a new,
like their version.
Yeah.
Fuck He's the one called Sailor FM.
I think I've been playing too much Pokemon. That's all I want is like different versions of these things now.
So she, the Titanians have like a natural telepathic power. That's the power that she brings to the Legion of Superheroes. I think she initially was like portrayed as insanely powerful, and then in some reboots they really like damped down her powers. But I think in general she's meant to be incredibly powerful, but more along the lines of mind reading, and that I don't know that you always see her do mind control-y kind of things, whereas Simon, I mean, maybe that's just the difference between good people and bad people. Simon, you see a lot more mind control-y kind of things. So who would win between them? I think it's got to be Saturn Girl, because I mean, Simon is accomplished and evil and powerful, but Saturn Girl is born with that, like
She was molded by it.
Yeah. Born to it. Molded by it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think you think mind control is your friend.
You merely adapted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've got to give it to Saturn Girl. I think she's A, more powerful, and B, she's had it her whole life. She's trained in it, and yeah, I think it's got to be her. The one, I mean, just in terms of raw power, I'm giving it to Saturn Girl. The one thing I will say is the Legion, as if it's written well, are sometimes not always the best prepared. So I could see maybe Simon having some sort of
Upper
tactical
hand.
Having an ace in the hole kind of thing. But
Higher ground.
if it's, yeah, don't try it, Anakin. It's just so stupid.
Yep. I have higher ground.
All that years of Jedi training, and the difference was 3 feet.
Yeah.
Like,
it's mind chess. That's
the difference is really 2 arms and 1 foot. Right. So other than that tactical advantage, though, if we're just talking about raw power, I think I'm giving it to Saturn Girl. So, which means that even if Simon gets a bit of an edge in the beginning, I think Saturn Girl ends up winning.
fair.
Yeah.
All right. Let's leave Facebook and head on over to Twitter.
Twitter.
His last name's Newcomer. It's not the first time he's asked a question. Scott Newcomer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've had better.
What's coming out of here? Oh God, he's a newcomer. Scott asks.
Oh.
Well, this is what happens.
Not like this.
That's what he said.
Not like this.
Does DC have an equivalent of Marvel's Professor X? Pastiche characters don't count.
I guess it depends on what we mean by equivalent. Do we just mean most powerful telepath? Because it's probably John.
Mm-hmm.
Jean.
The ability to does anybody have the ability to sense other meta humans? And
is that an Xavier power beyond just the mind control? Is Xavier able to just tell when someone's a mutant?
Yeah, that's why they created.
Other than reading their mind and being like, "Oh, you've got powers."
I don't know how that he's able to do it, but that's why they create that fucking sphere thing so he can expand his senses.
But that's not about sensing mutants. That's just about reaching out telepathically, right?
No, I
guess what I'm asking is, does Xavier have a mutant sensing power in addition to telepathy?
No, I think it might be through the telepathy. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we don't have an equivalent in terms of someone is running a school in upstate New York to help us, if we're just talking powerful telepaths, yeah, of course DC has one, and I would argue it's the Martian Manhunter.
Bald as well.
Yeah, that's right. Even as Detective John Jones, I think he stays bald.
I mean, if you had a Patrick Stewart voice, like a Martian Manhunter, even it's an animated show, yeah, I'm into that. Though he always does really hilarious things when he does animated characters.
That's true. What are other maybe characteristics of Xavier I'm not thinking of?
He's a cripple.
Okay, Jesus.
Tell me I'm wrong.
Why? Actually, I don't think he is. From what I've seen from the images from the Hickman X-Men comics, Xavier's walking around on 2 feet and he's wearing a mini Cerebro on his head all the time.
Well,
I actually don't think that he is in a wheelchair anymore. I think you are wrong.
Oh, well.
Bitch.
Because I know at least from the movies, he was forced into a wheelchair through the medication that helps him contain his powers.
Yes, that's what they did in those James McAvoy ones. Yeah, that's right. Well, no. It's the opposite.
To get his powers.
If he wants his powers, he doesn't take the medication, and then he's paralyzed.
Yeah. That's it.
Otherwise,
I don't know.
I don't know that there's I don't think there's an example of and we used to be friends, and now he's my.
No.
I don't know that there is an actual sort of equivalent to Xavier in terms.
And if anything,
relationships and stuff like that in DC. But yeah, if we're just talking powerful telepaths, totally.
I also think Phoenix is more powerful of a telepath than him. But.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I guess I just haven't read enough X-Men comics to know. Phoenix bolsters that power though with a lot of like telekinesis and other things. So
she is a stronger like mentally though.
Yeah.
Next question comes from our favorite spacey, sexy texture.
Ooh, Cosmic DM. Sliding right in those DMs.
Lots of satellite into my DM.
Oh, no. Into your bowel movement?
I didn't say into my BM. I said in my DM.
Oh, I thought you said BM.
Jesus Christ. What kind of shit are you talking about?
Your BM. That's the kind of shit.
It's still one of my favorite Bob's Burgers moments. when they're trying to track down Linda and they're going through like what her day is, and she always goes to this hotel to go to the bathroom, and they're asking the pianist like where she is, and they're like, oh, is she here? And he was like, no, she only BMs in the PM. I literally died laughing for like 5 straight minutes.
I love Bob's Burgers.
That's a great episode.
What does Cosmic DM ask?
Cosmic asks, what's your favorite representation of telepathy and maybe telekinesis you've seen? Not just comics, but also live action and animation, if you have any.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, let's open this up. Doesn't even necessarily have to be DC. Comics, live action, animation. What's like, is there like a cool or a particularly good visualization or way to sort of demonstrate telepathy? Because telepathy is a thing that's inherently not visual.
No.
But of all of the different
versions... Unless you're
Aquaman. So that's one example, right? Where we see the waves, like the signal, almost like it's a radio wave.
Does that count as telepathy? Is that what he's doing?
But the power is described as marine telepathy.
But it is telepathy.
It is a form of telepathy.
I really liked the way that they had it in the Aquaman movie with the fish all coming up to the fucking thing. That was really cool.
Oh, right.
And the like sort of like,
and you can see like the kind of like a radio signal or something.
That was fucking cool. I really liked that version of it.
I depending on how it's done, I don't mind the version where you're like in someone's head, but their head looks like a version of the world or like of their house, and like the rooms are different parts of their mind or something. Like, I don't necessarily hate that, but it can also be done very clunkily. I don't know that that's like my go-to way to show that power, but like the idea of like almost the Inception-y kind of thing of like, we're in your mind, but it looks like the real world because now we've populated it with things that are navigable, like maybe telepathy as a power.
Navigable, a word?
Yeah. Oh. It means you're able to navigate it.
Yeah, I just knew.
Maybe this should be the Dr. Vocabulary podcast.
Dr. PC, Jesus. I like when they have it like when they have to like there's too many voices in their head, like, because it's like if you had that ability, like if there's a wide range on that, you're hearing too many people and you have to like learn how to like narrow it down.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like I like a version of that, you know, where it's like you're hearing all the voices and stuff. It's too echoey. It's like an echo chamber kind of thing. I liked the Cerebro thing in those movies. The idea where it's sort of, it's not a full on like, here is a room full of people, but it was sort of like misty, and then you would sort of pop into like these different conversations, and that was a cool sort of visualization. Mm-hmm. In comics, sometimes you'll see it as like they'll do it like kind of like an energy spark just around someone's head, just to be like they're using their power.
Yes,
or they'll, you know, something will be happening at their eyes, or
sometimes you'll get like in animation they'll have like the blurriness around the head.
Yeah.
And they'll like go really close to their head, and there's like
James McAvoy, I think, when they were doing those X-Men movies, he was like, I should have a thing.
Yeah, I put my
because
fingers,
otherwise I'm just staring. So he like
touches his head. Yeah,
but I think that's a thing you'll see in comics too. Like, I think the image I put up when we asked for questions was a picture of Omen, who's a member of the Teen Titans, and she has her like hand up to the side of her head and her eyes are going. So we got 2 of those things we mentioned.
If I was going to make something, I'd make it look like the person's trying to take a shit. Just like...
Right. My God. How DC hasn't called you is beyond me.
I don't understand. Yeah.
I think I agree that maybe my favorite sort of look is that kind of Aquaman thing. The like,
it's fucking
cool. But
I
think that makes sense
in the water.
Well, it makes definitely in the water, but it also makes sense where it's like he's not like talking to animals, he's like guiding / controlling. I don't know that it's
the Ant-Man kind of thing
looks as good when it's like another like sentient being, like a human or something like that. I don't know that works, but yeah.
All right. Next question comes from. Oh fuck! I was not prepared for this.
You better get prepared.
Yeah. Raging G, people fall. Raging G like a cotton ball.
I mean, for not being prepared, that was pretty good.
It's not my finest work, but it'll do.
But you know what? I think it is satisfactory.
Luckily, I'm not a perfectionist. I don't have any issue with having anything like that. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine.
You're going to record a different one later and edit it over what you said. Unless I say that it was about a cotton ball and how people fall.
Hold on. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, we'll just leave that pause there for no reason at all.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Raging G asks, how come in Marvel, telepathy is considered one of the biggest or most terrifying powers, but for DC, that isn't the case. We still go back to Punchy the Target.
Right. I mean, again, without having read a ton of Marvel comics,
they suck.
I don't know that. Right. I guess what we're saying.
Chris Punch is fucking cool.
I guess what we're saying is that Professor X is such a major character.
Yeah.
And that is his power. So therefore, it's considered a really important power.
Or that Magneto is such a good villain that Professor X makes him so much sense in to be I think the two of them together is such a great relationship.
I don't know that DC doesn't put telepathy as an important power. I mean, Martian Manhunter in almost every version of the Justice League is part of the team, and he's pretty crucial.
Yeah.
They use his powers even beyond the telepathy one to pretty good effect, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't know that I agree with that basic premise, but I will say that there are lots of examples in DC, because I can actually speak to that, of people maybe having the mental fortitude to overcome like telepathic illusion.
Yeah.
So, for The Man Who Has Everything, that story where Superman is trapped by the Black Mercy plant, and it's putting him in this sort of like telepathic hallucination of his quote unquote perfect life. I think inherently knows it's wrong, and the illusion keeps crumbling and things keep going wrong until he's free of the plant.
Mm-hmm.
Despero traps, Martian Manhunter and Stargirl in a bit of a psychic illusion when they're in the Firestorm Matrix during Forever Evil. But Martian Manhunter can think his way out of it and get out of it. Stargirl realizes it's not right. Like, I think there's a thing, like Batman can... he's learned psychic safeguards. There's always a thing where it's like, if you have the mental fortitude, you can overcome even like telepathic illusion, where your like brain is being convinced that something is a certain way. So from that perspective, and without being able to speak to Marvel, DC does kind of have like a workaround where it's like, if Superman goes up against a powerful telepath, that in the story, basically Superman will be able to snap out of it.
Yeah.
He will see through the illusion, which is saying that like his brain is so strong, even though he's not telepathic, that he can do that. So maybe that you could make the argument that it's setting a precedent that there is a certain amount of powering through that you can sort of, even for a brain, you can brawn over like mind kind of power. I don't know that I 100% agree with that, but if we're taking that argument for granted, I do think there's a little bit of a thing like that, where maybe Marvel characters, it's because they're more rooted in like, they're meant to be more like, they're all these flawed, blah, blah, blah. Who's even right? Like that was always their inspiration. Obviously comics now, you try and give every character depth in all of the companies, but that was always the Marvel inspiration, was What if it was just like one of us got a power? What's that world look like?
What if it was one of us?
Whereas DC was always like more like mythology, more like gods and stuff like that. So that idea of like being inherently good or good always wins, I don't know that exists in Marvel, but in DC, that's, I mean,
the main tenet.
This current arc of Justice League is literally about that. Is that the multiverse was rebuilt
for justice.
For justice.
Yeah.
Like what everything is about is that. So yeah, maybe there's something to be said that DC has basically just said, yeah, there's an upper boundary to what you can achieve with telepathy.
Yeah.
Or at least what you can achieve with it if you are against the moral arc of your universe. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. Next question comes from Adam talking Superman.
Hey.
It's important to add that Adam in there.
Yeah, because he's talking Superman.
Just one person. Just so you know who's talking Superman.
He's literally the only person talking about Superman. No one else even knows who Superman is.
This is Adam talking Superman. Yeah. It's not like that other's talking Superman. This is Adam talking Superman. Fuck you, Steve, talking Superman. No, I have to make a new account.
Hey, I'm Brian talking Superman.
Hey, fuck you, just so you know, I'm the original. This is Adam talking Superman.
I really like season 4 of Smallville.
It's not Brian and Eve, it's Adam and Eve.
Oh, no.
I'm the original.
I don't like this. No.
Adam talking Superman asks, what is the history of Saturn Girls people? Are there telepathic aliens the same as Irma on Saturn in present-day DCU? Also, I just realized that Mars, Venus, and Saturn all have telepaths in the DCU. Earth got the shaft, so my question is weird, right?
Right. I mean, the short answer to the Earth got the shaft thing is that Earth got the metagene.
Yeah.
So we got all the powers.
Bitch.
It's random.
Yeah.
Random. But I think Earth probably got the better deal because there's a diversity of powers on Earth. Right. The initial question is about Saturn Girls people. So she's from Titan, the moon that orbits Saturn. She is essentially human looking and has psychic abilities. And we're meant to assume that Titanians have that power. Yeah. But if you go back in time to the 20th or the 21st century, at least before they maybe got retconned out, because we haven't seen them in a while, there was a thing where basically the Martians had sort of populated Saturn with kind of cloned species of themselves. So the Red Saturnians, and there was a whole series. His name was Gem, son of Saturn.
Yeah.
And he was a Saturnian, which was essentially a form of Martian. And yes, of course, he had telepathic powers because Martians have telepathic powers. And there were different versions of Saturnians, just like there were green and white Martians, because they each sort of cloned a version of themselves and put them on Saturn. I don't know if anyone went to the trouble ever of connecting the legacy of the Saturnian cloned Martians to the eventual preponderance of telepathic powers in basically humans living on Titan. I don't know if anyone ever did that. I think if they hadn't, there's somewhere between the 20th century and the 31st century, there's something happened. There's a connection there somehow. Power transference or an actual genetic descendant or whatever. So there must be a connection because it's too weird otherwise, too coincidental maybe. But then to his other point, maybe it is just coincidental because Venusians, like Mr. Mind, there's some telepathic sort of things in there. And Martians, I don't know. Maybe it is just a coincidence.
Or maybe they all came from the same source.
Well, I think that's what I mean, I know I've said in another episode, I don't like it when things all come back to one thing.
Yeah.
But I think there's also a line where it's we have too many things for them not to be connected.
Yeah.
And I think if it hasn't been done, and this could just be a gap in my reading or something like that. So I apologize if there's a real clear answer to this, but I like to imagine there must be some lineage or some connection between the Saturnian Martian clones of the 20th century and the Titanians inhabiting the 31st century.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I don't think we've seen those Saturnians since like the New 52. This was all pre-Flashpoint. Mm-hmm. So we could maybe, but we have the Legion now, so maybe we can assume that this is just a totally different background for Saturn Girl and her people now.
Yeah.
But, you know, as anything with these canon things, that only applies until someone's like, hey, we haven't done a Gem Son of Saturn book yet. And then it's like, oh, in fact, the Saturnians are back. And then you're like, all right, let's work it in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Next question. Oh, put the metal to your mouth and suck and blow. It's Organ Night.
It's so gross. What a horrible intro. Put the metal to your mouth and suck and blow.
Yeah.
It's not exhaust pipe night.
No, it's a mouth organ. It's a harmonica.
Oh.
That's another term.
Is that what you call a mouth organ?
Yeah, that's what a mouth organ is.
That's not what I call a mouth organ.
Well, it's hard to tell what you call it because your mouth's full.
Yeah, of organ.
Yeah. All right. Organ Knight asks, could you talk about Dr. Psycho?
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
Dr. Psycho. No, that's Psycho Pirate. Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't fuck me up.
I'm sorry. Dr. Psycho.
Can I take your temperature?
Hello.
Hi.
Cough. So Dr. Psycho, we have talked about very briefly before. He's a Wonder Woman enemy, part of her sort of rogues gallery. He's this very diminutive, basically like misogynist. He's like this guy who blames and hates women for all the shitty things that have happened to him that are deserved / not deserved, depending on his history. But he's basically...
He's an incel.
Yeah, essentially. He's an incel. He's a woman hater, which makes him an amazing archenemy for Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
From like a writing perspective for storytelling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Dr. Psycho, I mean, he's had a few different versions of where his powers came from. It used to be kind of like occulty, I think. But he gained this ability to basically like cast telepathic illusions and things like that. But it also involved like something physical, like ectoplasm. Like he was actually doing something occulty, like with ghosts or something.
Yeah.
But generally, if you're just being very broad about it, Dr. Psycho has telepathic, like illusion casting powers. He can kind of read minds and make you believe you're seeing certain things and induce hallucinations and that sort of thing. But he's basically this little, small, diminutive, angry
incel. Oh no, I'm doing occult stuff. No, that's ectoplasm. Don't worry about it.
Mom, get out of here. But
yeah, white because they're ghosts. He's
an interesting character though because of his relationship to Wonder Woman. Because he's been thwarted by her he had been thwarted by her a couple of times and then decided that he was going to focus all of that rage and hatred of women and all of that, like he represents all that sort of like male entitlement and all that kind of shit, right? And he focuses it on Wonder Woman, like the absolute symbol of everything he is not and everything he's against. So they're kind of an interesting duo. Plus the idea that his power is about illusion casting and deceit and stuff like that. And she has this lasso of truth. Like there's a kind of cool... I wish he was a more prominent villain, frankly. I mean, the thing I like about Diana is we do get to spend a lot of time with like the gods, the Greek gods and stuff like that. But I think that we also forget that she's got a cool roster of rogues and villains that have nothing to do with that, including Giganta and Dr. Psycho and Dr. Poison and some other characters like that. I think they
give a rewrite on these goddamn names.
I think they get forgotten sometimes. There's actually a lot of doctors for Wonder Woman. Well, Dr. Cyber.
Yeah, he just constantly asks age, sex, and location.
Yeah, Dr. Cyber.
It's for medical reasons.
Dr. Cyber's like, send nudes.
Yeah.
You want a snap?
He shows up. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of wish that Dr. Psycho was more prominent. I think he's a cool villain for her. But yeah.
All right. Next question comes from McGann Maors.
McGann Maors.
Who asks
herself.
Yeah, that's right. Who asks, do you feel like Miss Martian is one of the strongest telepaths?
So, McGann Maors. I mean, this Twitter account is all about McGann Maors.
Yes.
Who is Miss Martian?
Yes.
Her human alias is Megan Morse.
Where's that connection? Megan Moores.
McGann Moores?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day. So Miss Martian is actually, I mean, she's the Martian Manhunter's niece.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. Because sometimes she is actually his niece and sometimes she is not. But she's actually a white Martian.
Oh.
Which are like the ancient sort of enemies of green Martians. But she wasn't part of that like conflict. She was sort of persecuted as a white Martian by green Martians. She's sort of got the opposite thing going on there. So she often will disguise herself green.
Oh, wow.
And her usual form on Earth is green. Like when she's not being human.
Oh, okay.
She will then, as a superhero, be a green Martian, basically.
Oh, wow.
Miss Martian, though, has been, I think, shown to be probably more raw power than John.
Okay.
In the way that, like, Supergirl is probably more raw power than Clark.
Oh.
But she's not necessarily as refined or as experienced. She doesn't maybe
She's younger, right?
She's younger. She doesn't maybe have the technique or the, to match with that power. The thing they always say
like a Superboy kind of situation.
The thing they always say about Kara is that if she's not exactly as powerful as Clark, she's maybe slightly stronger. But the real difference between them is that she didn't grow up holding back.
Well, because
she grew up and
she was
Krypton,
trained,
and then she came to Earth and then was trained. Whereas
she was trained before. Yeah,
Clark spent his whole life learning not to do things too hard. So it's actually like he has to remind himself to let loose sometimes.
Yeah.
Kara doesn't have that problem. I think you can make a similar sort of argument for McGann.
Okay.
That she's probably, because John has spent more time on Earth, he's probably learned to safeguard himself a little bit and the people around him, and McGann hasn't necessarily. So she's also a bit less tested, a bit less experienced, but if I would be willing to say on raw power, she's probably more powerful than John. In Young Justice, in that cartoon, she absolutely is. There's a whole episode where, in the first season, it's one of the best episodes of the show, where Martian Manhunter puts them in a telepathic simulation to test the team.
Yeah. And
something happens in the simulation where one of them, quote, like, die, but they of course don't. But McGann believes it to be real, and she telepathically takes control of the whole simulation, and John can't get them out. Even John is trapped inside it.
Jeez.
So that episode they used to demonstrate that, like, she is way more powerful than him, but doesn't know how to use that power the way he does. I think that's a reasonable approach to that character.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
Yeah.
What's that sound? A donkey screaming. It must be morning. Next question comes from Braydon.
I mean, what a long walk to that joke.
Braydon? It makes sense.
I mean, his name's Braydon.
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 Yes.
Clinton.
Braydon asks, Martian Manhunter is well known for his telepathy. So what is to stop him from using that telepathy from reading minds of his enemies and helping the Justice League get a tactical advantage of bigger secrets they might otherwise not have known?
Yeah, I mean, here's the bit where we start picking things apart, right? I mean, this is like, I think we talked about this when my dad was on the show. We talked about it with the Flash, that the thing that he hates on the show is the Flash speeds to the crime scene, stops and says, hey, don't do that. And he's like, why don't you just keep speeding and just stop the crime?
Yeah.
And the answer is not very romantic, but it's just that it's a shitty episode of television if a crime is happening and then instantly isn't happening, and the guy just is in prison, and he's like, I don't know who did it. I couldn't see. It was way too fast.
I think, but also,
and there's no confrontation with the hero. I feel like it's the same thing with John. Like, if we're talking about, like, why doesn't he just read everyone's mind, learn what all of their moves are going to be, and then relay that to the team so they instantly win? It's just not as interesting. Like, could he do it? I think so. But it's not as interesting. So they have to make up excuses for him not to do it. And I think one of them that they sometimes fall back on is this idea of a certain boundary after which you can't claim that invading people's minds is in the pursuit of justice more than it is a selfish act. So there's like almost like an honor code to it. Like, he will read people's minds, he'll read villains' minds, but he won't just live in their head to know everything they're going to do, because that's then he's the bad guy. Like, it's one of those things you write that's like, and this is how we'll get away with it.
Yeah.
It's like, I kind of feel like that's what it is.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Though I think that Flash thing is unfair, because I think that he doesn't immediately just try to stop it, because he always has the sense that people can be better. And so he thinks that if he can talk with them, that they can do better.
I mean, yeah, okay. I'm willing to.
I think that's the solution for the Flash. I don't think that's the same thing.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'll give you that one. Dad, if you're listening, he's not.
Yeah. Fair.
You're being called out.
Yeah.
Like, where are we at? Like 60 episodes later, almost. 50 episodes later or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think there's a thing with John that way where he won't just live in someone's head. He'll look in and say, I think they're doing this. And then you go, okay, like, what are they going to do next? And it'll be like, oh, well, I stopped listening.
Yeah.
Like, there's a little bit of that. But
I have to like dial in.
With the consent of the League, he establishes like a telepathic link with them when they're in combat, so they can just think to each other and strategize together. So, I mean, he uses it constructively with the team, but not necessarily constantly invading the minds of the villains.
Yeah. In
the case of the current arc, you can maybe make the argument that because Grodd is on the Legion of Doom, then there's a telepath in there that's at least, even if Grodd's not as strong as John, he's at least somewhat shielding them from just like stray thoughts kind of spilling out. That if John targeted them, he could probably figure it out, but Grodd can maybe stop just like loose random thoughts from reaching him. Yeah, I mean, it's about the writer. It's like, I mean, so many of these have this cop-out answer, right? But it's a little bit about like, what do we want to tell in this story? Do we want to show how fucking terrifying the Martian Manhunter can be? Like what his powers allow him to do?
Well, then, yeah.
Or do we want this to be a little bit more action-y and a little less mindy?
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, let's go to the next question from the Lantern Cast, who just simply asks, who is her?
Oh, right. Okay, I mean, I can't pronounce this. It's like HFURHURU or something like that.
HFUHRUHURR.
I was close.
Yeah.
Herfurfur. This character, I think, has only shown up like a handful of times. Like max 6, I think. But I think they were like an alien like cult leader or something, and they like abduct this town of people like from Earth, and I think he like makes them into like gelatin, or like he like destroys their bodies but merges their minds like into this bigger collective. Like I think he thinks he's doing them a favor, like releasing them from their fleshy prisons sort of thing. And then Superman beats him, but then can't restore their bodies. And I think the town elects to kill themselves. Jesus. Superman won't do it, and I think they make him.
Jeez.
Like, whatever their life support thing for their gelatin selves is, I think they make him kill them.
Wow.
I think that's what that Hufflepuff character is.
That's dark.
It's basically this cultist that, gelatinizes people's body, consumes the flesh and releases the mind because he thinks he's doing it to make them part of something greater, like a collective of consciousness or something.
Good God.
It's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would be surprised if this character showed up more than 6 or 7 times.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
It is fucked up. Even just saying it out loud, I'm actually unsure if this is a Superman story or not, because it's pretty dark. It's pretty fucking
sounds like
dark.
Doom Patrol, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Doesn't it sound way more like a Doom Patrol thing? Yeah, I mean, Superman stories don't often end with
people killing themselves,
suicide kind of thing. So,
assisted suicide, the only kind I want. Less work for me.
Oh my God.
It's the only bad part of a suicide. I have to do it myself.
Oh, but I'm no good at knots.
Yeah. I can barely write my own name, let alone cut it. Jeez.
Oh no. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's leave Twitter.
So dark.
Head on
so
over to
grim.
Instagram.
Oh my God. Now we're going to Instagram.
Yeah.
Take some questions and answer them.
All right.
Oh man. That's really Jesus.
Come on.
Just thinking about all these poor gelatinized folk now.
Yeah.
It's like a whole town. I swear to God, this whole town dies.
Jeez.
Superman just straight up cannot save them.
Yeah. Well, he murks them.
Well, he doesn't. No, he doesn't want to. The town makes him because they
still make him. He still does it.
They retain some sort of psychic power or something from being part of that collective.
Right. The next question comes from the real Josh Gill.
Yeah, all you fake Josh Gills, get the fuck out.
Yeah. Stop making those accounts to try to get me to give you money.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. Are you late at night and wanting to see some workout videos? Shut up here, Josh Gill 993.
Your targeted ads are like, this Josh, you won't last 5 minutes with this Josh Gill.
This Josh Gill and its friend Josh Gill are up late at night.
Yeah. Meet Josh Gills near Whitehorse.
This obnoxious Josh Gill won't shut up to his older Josh Gill stepfather.
Oh no. Is your preferred porn search term step Josh Gill?
Yeah. I like Josh Gills I'd like to fuck.
Right. Do you search JGOI?
Yeah.
Josh Gill orgasm instructions.
I like POJ.
POJG.
Yeah. Point of Josh Gill.
Is that like those
Josh Pies?
It's just a shot of his face.
Yeah.
You just look at him in the eyes for 4 minutes.
I just want to get on that Josh bus.
The Josh bus. Yeah, the Gill Bros.
I feel like we've satisfactorily harassed Josh enough today. Josh, you have another one, don't you? I feel like it's building up.
I'm trying to think of a Brazzers one, but I haven't gotten there yet. 8th Street Josh Gills.
Oh, the casting Josh.
Josh's fake Uber. Josh Gill's fake Uber.
Just want some homemade Josh. That's all I'm looking for.
Jesus.
The real Josh Gill asks, what makes a telepath a telepath? And could characters like Connor Kent, who has some telekinetic, fucking what? Telekinetic, that's why it is. Telekinetic abilities, and Raven, who is described as an empath, fall under this telepathic umbrella?
Before I answer that, I have one more. Cam Gills.
Oh! That's it. I mean, that's... Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
I want the big bad Josh BBJs.
BBJG.
I just want a compilation of all those Josh shots.
That's a hard gill to swallow. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh my!
You all right?
You should be proud of that one. That was good.
I'm both proud and ashamed.
Oh,
I think
I
think equal measures of pride and shame.
Oh, now you know how my
welcome to
family
the
feels.
Dr. DC podcast.
50-50, baby.
Right. So Josh's question is a really good one. So what actually is telepathy?
Yeah.
And how is it? It's not just using your mind as a power.
Yeah.
Because,
BJSM.
because telekinesis is where you mentally, physically move objects. That's the
BJGSM. That's what it is. Yeah.
We should have saved this for the double dose.
I know. Fuck me, Josh.
So telekinesis is like manipulating objects and space basically with your mind.
Yeah.
Telepathy is more like it's the mental connection, the connection of thoughts, manipulation of thought, as opposed to like how it physically manifests. So when he talks about Connor Kent there was a bit where that Connor Kent Superboy, the one that's like half clone of Superman, half clone of Lex Luthor, where he described he has the same powers as Superman, quote unquote, but he described them as, instead of being all the Kryptonian yellow sun, like in his cells thing, is that he had a form of, what was the word they used? Tactile telekinesis, which meant if he, when he went to punch something, he would punch it, but then there was a form of telekinesis that would basically add the strength. Or he was flying, but by telekinesis, not by just actual flight, right? Mm-hmm. That's not telepathy. It's telekinesis, as the name implies. Because Connor couldn't read minds. He couldn't hear thoughts. That's the piece that's the telepathy. The Raven one is interesting because we're talking about the difference between telepathy and empathy. So the best example I can use is Star Trek. So you know how Deanna Troi is only half Betazoid.
Yes.
So Loxana Troi is telepathic. Her mother is telepathic. You can hear her voice in your head. She can communicate telepathically.
But Deanna's only empathetic.
She's empathic. Yeah. She can sense feelings and emotions and whether or not you're telling the truth and things like that. But she can't necessarily hear crystal clear thoughts like words, right? Except from other telepaths.
Yeah.
That's basically the difference between a character like Omen and Miss Martian, stuff like that, and a character like Raven. Raven is an empath. So she is tied to feelings and emotions. Her empathic powers allow her to heal and things like that. They're also magic-based. The telepathic thing is like hearing clear thoughts.
Yeah.
Knowing what is someone thinking right now. Or, I have to send directions to someone telepathically, like turn left, like whatever that is. That's the main difference. It's the difference, if you're a Star Trek head, between Loxana Troi and Deanna Troi. Dave, that one's for you. Dash will turn off the podcast. What was there another part to that question? That we covered the difference between telekinesis and telepathy, and empathy and telepathy.
And do any of those fall under that umbrella? Yeah.
Maybe.
And what makes a telepath a telepath?
I think there's maybe a larger umbrella. I don't know what the word would be, like etymologically.
Yeah.
There's probably a larger umbrella of like all of these powers have to do with your mind.
Yeah.
But some are like mind-to-mind connection and about thought.
Yeah.
Some are about manipulation of physical things. Some are about the sensory, like emotive kind of side of things. I don't know what that umbrella would be called, like
Ella.
distinguish it from other things, but there's probably like a broader family of mind powers that they all belong to.
Mindhunter.
Yeah.
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 Well, last question. I'm already getting wet.
Oh no.
Jack Stonewall.
Jack Stonewall.
Hard as a rock? No, hard as a stone wall.
Yeah. There's only one man who can save us now. Jack Stonewall.
I thought you were doing like the $1 Million Man thing.
I kind of was,
Yeah.
but then I was like, no, there's something better than that. Jack Stonewall got 63 hostages out of East Berlin.
I want to move my castle. What am I going to do? Get Jack Stonewall.
In a city where terrorism is winning, only one man can restore order. Jack Stonewall.
This summer.
This summer, Justice has a brand new leather jacket.
We're about to get hard as a rock this summer. He stops crime like a wall. Jack Stonewall. Jack asks, that sounds fun. Who has the best armor in the astral plane? I want to say Dr. Psycho. He would want to overcompensate for his size.
So I think that, I mean, this question is asking about, sort of telepathic prowess, I think.
Yeah.
But I just in terms of the wording of this, I feel like there's a difference between astral plane and the telepathic, like the realm of the mind.
Yes.
Astral plane to
like
me
ghosts.
always feels like something a little more celestial, like a little, yeah, exactly. Like,
spirits and whatnot.
Spiritual things like that. Whereas the telepathic sort of realm is just the link between two minds, whatever that space is.
Not that you're wrong, sir.
It's that Mr. Stonewall. Just like I would never. I don't think you can equate the astral plane and like the digital universe that Cyborg can connect to.
Yeah.
I think the telepathic plane is different. Like your astral self, Raven has an astral self, but again, that's empathy, not telepathy.
Yeah.
And that's also magic based. She's like a sorcerer from another dimension.
Yeah.
So I think there's a slight difference there. But if we're talking about like telepathic combat, I like the idea that Dr. Psycho, because of his various insecurities and hatreds, may adopt a more defensive posture, that maybe telepathically he's armored up because he is just like completely insecure and then turns it into hate fuel against his perceived slights. That is a funny image to me. I think someone like the Martians, I don't think they're defensive at all because they come from a people that are open and engaging telepathically. Like, I don't think they would appear armored in that telepathic world, right? Like when you give it an actual form, an actual image. Yeah, I could see Dr. Psycho putting himself in like a mech suit in a telepathic plane. And John Johns or Miss Martian, they would probably just be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. It's
Despero
no effect.
is an alien with telepathic powers who is so confident in his own. I mean, he doesn't even wear clothes. He's most often just depicted wearing a cape and nothing else.
Wow.
Dicks out.
Yeah.
Baby. But I think that's his confidence, right? It's the opposite of Dr. Psycho. I think telepathically, Despero wouldn't be armored up either.
No,
he would just be like, you can't beat me. This is who I am.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other characters who may not have that sort of confidence. Possibly Simon, maybe a little bit.
The bad guys tend to be a little bit self-conscious.
But Grodd,
right?
Grodd and Despero are both so confident and relatively powerful. I don't think either of them would do that.
Though
the
Grodd,
Dr. Psycho one's a really funny image. He's probably the best illustration of that. I do think he is guarded, and so that must manifest telepathically.
Grodd does use like armor in the real world often, and not necessarily needs to have that.
Mostly just I think it's mostly ceremonial, though.
But that's why I feel like he might use it in the
right. I see. Right, like just as like to reinforce who he believes himself to be, like the rightful ruler of the city. So yeah, I can see that. That's fair. Yeah, maybe less. Yeah, I mean that's a form of insecurity. Maybe is because he's not the ruler. Yeah. That's a fair point. I'll give you that one. Interesting. I don't know that I have necessarily a answer to this other than that I just really love that idea for Dr. Psycho.
Yeah.
I think that's a really smart way. If you're writing a comic or drawing a comic, I think that visually that's a very smart way without using words to set him apart. Like you're saying a lot visually by making him do something like that if he telepathically armors himself up. You're laying out all of his insecurities and all of like what's at the core of that character visually. That's really good storytelling. I think that's a fun idea.
Hey Doc, the other day I went to the doctor and I asked for Advil, but they gave me Tylenol.
Oh, okay.
I looked at who signed it off. Made sense. Dr. Psycho. What a maniac.
My GP gave me LSD, but I go to Dr. Psychotropic drugs.
Well, you got what you asked for then. That's the end of the episode. Except for...
Oh, son of a bitch.
Every fucking time.
I have one.
Wow. That's something to do with flowers.
No. Damn it. So why do you have to say it out loud? Fuck it, I'm using it still.
Why don't you explain what we're doing?
So, our Dial Doc segment is based on Dial H for Hero, where you get the magic H dial, you dial Hero into it, and you become a never-before-seen hero or villain with a wacky name and crazy powers.
Whoa!
And we come up with one of these every episode.
Every fucking episode.
We've been doing it for over 100 episodes, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, we're going to do them again this week. Yep. And I have one.
Good.
And Richard blew up my fucking spot. I mean, it's good that I have a little bit of time because I only thought of a name. I haven't actually thought of what the thing is.
Can I think of what the name is?
Yeah.
Is it Flower Power?
It was actually Flower Sack.
Oh, because it's a blanket, but okay.
Well, it looks like a sack. Flower
what
sack.
What the fuck does your sack look like?
No, it's not a scrotal.
Blue and misshapen?
Believe it or not, my character is not scrotal.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're getting your balls chopped off in a couple days anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're taking the whole thing. That's what a vasectomy is, right?
Well, I mean, there's not much, right?
God, I hope they don't slip. Can't afford to lose anymore.
The slightest breeze.
Woo! Really taking a risk here. You know what they say? No potatoes makes the steak look at all visible. I'm going in for a complete ballectomy.
Yeah, no potatoes make the ground beef edible.
Oh, just edible. Not even up to what it looks like. Yeah, so my character is called Flower Sack.
Flower Sack.
Flower Sack basically is sort of like a Johnny Appleseed sort of type, but has this big sort of like Santa Claus gift bag full of flowers, and basically can like spread these flowers out, and what they do is they sort of counteract like negative emotions. So basically what Flower Sack can do is by spreading these flowers around can sort of like quell negative emotions. So it's not necessarily like they're super strong and can stop a bank robbery, but perhaps with the right combination of flowers thrown, the bank robbers will lose their motivation to do it. They'll turn themselves in. They'll see a better way out.
Is this person connected to the green?
No.
Not that powerful.
No. God, no. Let's not make them crazy. No, I think this, well, Maybe slightly connected to that new Parliament of Flowers, which has replaced the Parliament of Trees.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, flower sack.
I know I keep looking back at it, but yes.
I'm just hoping more inspiration will strike, but I think that's it. I think that's all I have for this one.
That's the most you could squeeze out of that sack. Please stop touching my sack.
This flower sack.
I
should have made it about baking. It could have been a different.
That's
flower.
what I really thought you were. That's with flower sack. I really thought that's where you were
segment. Going. Why did I come up with it?
It's your fault. Yeah.
Why am I so bad at my own ideas?
No coattails to hang off of.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're really seeing what I'm bringing to the table when we get to this part of the episode. Do you know what, Doc? Why don't you go solo on this one? It's like, do I have to? Doorknob man. Fuck, I shouldn't say that. It could be next week's.
This guy's name is Moneybags. He holds bags that are literally made from dollar bills.
$10 that next week when we record an episode and I post vasectomy, that my character is vasectomy related.
I was just going to call it, just called Dickless.
Because we all know that's what a vasectomy is.
That's right. Chop off your penis.
They take the whole thing.
Yep, the entire thing.
I think they might just cut me off at the pelvis.
Nah, it's probably easier. In the theme of today, my character's name is Gaslight.
Oh no.
Who has the ability to mind control, but only by putting in contradictory thoughts into someone's head.
Oh, right. So they give them so much conflicting information that they can sort of steer them towards what they want them to do. I mean, that's super fucked up. I mean, much like real gaslighting.
Yeah.
Well, good God, what a horror. Okay. So I'm trying to think of what would happen if Flour Sack and Gaslight
that's interesting.
went up against each other.
Yeah.
So Gaslight comes into a situation and is providing all this contradictory sort of telepathic information.
Yeah.
It's sort of bending people to Gaslight's will.
I think that, well, that's the thing, is the stronger will you have and so, I mean, you're fucked if Gaslight comes in the room, because it's really all about self-confidence.
Right. Well, oh, God, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm the first chump.
Yeah.
But do you think
Today's a great date? No, it's not. No, you're right.
Do you think Flour Sack's powers would counter Gaslight's powers, or do you think it would only work if Flour Sack could make Gaslight not want to do that? Like, do you think the flowers could free the person enthralled, or could Flour Sack only work against Gaslight?
I think it would take some really powerful flowers. Yeah. I think you could. I think that,
but like Hyacinth. Yeah. Yeah, what about like lilac?
Rooibos.
Yeah, rooibos. What about iris? What about a calla lily? What about
Jeez, with all these flowers, you're really a pedophile.
No, I'm not.
It's quite the pedophile.
I need you to go into my office.
Okay.
I need you to open the drawer.
Oh yeah, all right.
The drawer that's all about plants.
Yeah.
I need you to bring me my petal file. I'm upset at how many different versions of the pedophile pun we've been able to make.
Hey, you do what you know.
I hope not. Let's move on.
Barely Josh Gill.
Barely Josh Lee Gill.
Oh! Coattails, baby.
Yeah.
We would love to hear what kind of characters you all. How many?
Do you think anyone?
What pedophile puns can you come up with?
Do you think anyone's sitting on like the URL for JoshTube.net?
Oh,
I think it's a .net.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
JoshTube.net.
.tk from back in the day.
Yeah, and then the categories could be like Cam Gill,
GeoCities.cam
Gill. We'll just make a completely Josh porn aggregate.
Yeah, it's called Josh.0. Come on. Yeah.
Josh Hub.
Yeah. Get your fill of all the Gil.
I'm so sorry, Josh. I gotta say, these last like 3 or 4 episodes have been fucking weird.
I started paying attention. I think that's why.
Oh no. Yeah, new year, new us. We're
That's
both
right.
invested now.
That's right. Oh no, you're doomed now. We were just casual for the last few years.
Not anymore.
Nope.
We were like 160. Time to bone down.
Yeah, we're gonna put 20%. We would love to hear characters you can come up with. All you have to do is send us through our various social media platforms, using either the hashtag DialDoc for your character, or you can ask us a question for next week's episode.
Right. Oh, right. We've slightly had to change our schedule around, so next week's episode isn't what I thought it was. Next week's episode, though, will be... Next week's episode is going to be... wait for it. The Comics Code Authority.
Oh, shit.
So we're going to talk about comics that exemplify the Comics Code Authority. You can send questions about what that Comics Code Authority was.
Things that didn't make the cut.
Things that didn't make the cut. Things that weren't allowed. Things that broke through it. Things that tore it down. So anything about the Comics Code Authority, that's what we're doing next week. Oh. And then the week after that, we got a very special one.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, we talk about people being violent at home. It's a very special episode.
Oh, Jesus! No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like a very special.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. God,
Timmy doesn't look so good today.
Oh no, I don't like this.
Timmy fell down the stairs.
This makes me feel uncomfortable.
Or you can just nerd out with us online. Use our various social media platforms, such as our Facebook,
Dr. DC Podcast,
our Twitter,
at Dr. DC,
our Instagram,
Dr. DC Podcast,
email,
drdcpodcast@gmail.com,
our Josh Hub.
Oh yeah, our Josh Hub. I'm username Gil Bunny.
I'm my username's filled to the gills.
Not guilt to the brim.
No, that's a good one too. Our subreddit
r/Dr_DC.
Or r/Gills Gone Wild.
Okay, I'm willing to bet though that if you go to that subreddit, it's weird like fish
porn. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Or like weird mermaid hentai or something.
Yeah,
I'm willing to bet.
Siri.
Siri, scrub the hard drive.
Also, the doc phone is now open.
208-917-3238.
Josh Gill's waiting up late night for you.
We got to prevent that Lava Life commercial.
Oh my God, I forgot. Also, not only can you talk to us online, but you can also read some of our old-ass articles or photos of Josh, or buy our merch.
Buy our merch.
On our website.
drdcpodcast.com or .ca. And don't forget, we also have a Patreon. Patreon.com.
Focus on the pay.
/DrDC. We've got 2 tiers, a $5 tier and a $7 tier. The $5 tier, it's the Silver Age. You get a bonus episode every week. It's called the Double Dose. We geek out about things that are DC, things that are not DC, from music, games, movies, TV, anything. That comes out every Friday. At the Golden Age tier, you obviously get that, but you also get the prescribed reading. It's a video episode every week where we talk about a new comic from my pull list.
Yeah.
You get merch discounts. You get to help decide episode themes, all sorts of cool stuff.
That's right. Or our new birthday cake and balloons tier where Josh Gill sits on things for you.
Oh my God. I mean, Josh is not going to participate anymore, right? Like,
I'm the only way to find out.
I mean,
you only know where the boundaries are when you set them.
I know.
Okay?
I was going to say, I know that's your philosophy on that, but I'm not sure it holds up in a court of law.
Well, I mean, there's no way to find out.
Oh, that's what a murder is? Well, I hadn't done it before.
No one.
You can't know what the line is
until you cross it. That's right. See? That's all I'm saying. So subscribe to our Patreon today. And give us reviews.
Yeah. 5 stars, 10 stars, 19 stars.
Yeah.
If it's 5 or more.
We want more stars than the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah. Or at least that many.
Or the amount of that on GTA's when the cops show up.
Well, that's just 1 star.
That after they see what I've done.
Well, yeah, no, we want the army. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Do you think in the new GTA, when it eventually comes out, do you think the 6th star will be Space Force? Just orbital strike comes down on the city.
That would be fucking amazing. I absolutely want that.
Yeah. Leave those reviews on iTunes or on Podbean or like wherever you listen or on Facebook. We're on our way towards 100. Someone gave us a suggestion of what to do, and I can't remember what it was.
Oh, it was good, too.
Hang on. I'm going to find it. I'm going to use the hashtag HundoHungry because that's...
Go to Josh Hub and go to Josh Gills with glasses.
Oh, no. Get out of my search history. HundoHungry. And... Cosmic DM wrote... You and Richard should make a live-action adaptation of a comic starring only you and Richard for your 100 reviews. Yes, but
I've thought about this at length already.
Only if it's that that Jim Lee Batman and Catwoman fucking on a rooftop.
Oh yeah,
that's the only way I'll do it. It'll be like when Seth Rogen, James Franco did the Bound 2 video.
Yes. Yes. So give us those 5-star reviews.
Yes, please.
And that's it for this week. We will for our sexy subscribers, we'll see you on Friday.
That's right.
Or today.
What?
Because you get the video today if you're
that's right. If you're a Golden Age.
You get a video.
Got a video today.
Yeah. All right.
Adios.
Ciao ciao.
They always fight for what is right. Live with danger and adventure. They are men of might.
This was a Brain Freeze podcast.